Welcome into another episode of the Winning Bets Pod. We're coming at you on our YouTube channel today. I am your host, Jason Mattis. Thanks for coming along on the ride. We're going to do something a little bit different today. Instead of providing you with actual winning bets, I talk to you guys all the time out there how I participate in the fantasy games out there, the ESPN Streak for Cash, MLB Beat the Streak. There's the NBC Sports Pick'em. Well, this one today is going to be on the Fox Bet platform. They do a game called the Super Six where they ask you 6 questions for a chance to win some money. Today is all about the NFL Draft Challenge for a chance to win $10,000. Currently, right now, there are about 40,000 entries, and the way the game works on the Fox Bet app is whoever gets the most amount of the picks right, they all split the prize. So maybe you can get one person get all 6 right, you can win $10,000, or a combination. A bunch of people can be at 6, or you get the gist. Just try to win all the picks you can and win the money. And hopefully the least amount of people do, but who cares? We all need some money. Let's all have some fun and let's get that money. So, like I said, they ask you 6 questions on this platform. I've got them from confidence level in terms of, I'm going to give them to you a little bit out of order for confidence. These are the ones I like the most, going down to the ones I'm least confident about. I don't subscribe to, I know there's people out there when they do these kind of games, they subscribe to the theory of, well, I got to make one different, I got to make one off pick, so therefore it differentiates myself from everybody else. I don't believe in that. You've got to pick winners, right? If I pick all 6 winners, I don't care that maybe 100 other people also picked all 6 right and we're going to split the money. I'm not going to risk it, go for 5 winners and then maybe one off one, because I want to be part of the money. I don't want to be sitting there with 5 wins and looking at 99 people splitting $10,000. I want a piece of that $10,000 too. So I'm giving you 6 winners to give you a chance to split that $10,000 with some other people out there. So in terms of how I've got these picks, I'm going to go with the 5th pick, or the 5th question that they're going to ask. They ask for which offensive lineman is drafted. To me, I've studied probably 15 to 20 mock drafts. I look at ones that go through all 7 rounds. I look at ones that just focus on the first round. And I can't find all but one mock draft that doesn't have Tristan Wirfs. And apologies if I mispronounced that gentleman's name. I can't find a mock other than one that doesn't have this gentleman as the first offensive tackle or the first offensive line guard going in the draft. So I've got that one going. Obviously, we know who he's going up against. He's going up against Wills and Benton and Thomas. Then they also have any other linemen. To me, it just comes down to simply compare the mock drafts. What do they have? And they're all screaming out Tristan Wirfs as the first offensive lineman taken. So go ahead and take that one. My second question that I've got that I'm most confident in, they've got, will New England draft a quarterback in the first round? Simply put, yes or no. I lean no on this one. I think New England has a lot of problems. They're not a quarterback away, as you saw last year. They had Tom Brady and they didn't go all the way to the promised land. It's not like they just need to replace Tom Brady and they'll snap right back into an AFC Championship game or a Super Bowl. They need multiple pieces. I think combined with that thought process, and then also of Bill Belichick maybe having that chip on his shoulder that I did it with the 6th round draft pick, I can do it with another, maybe not a 6th round draft pick, but I don't need that first round draft pick. So I think he's going to be more on the position player, maybe a skill player, maybe an offensive lineman, who knows, but I just don't see them going quarterback in the first round. I know a lot of people are talking Jordan Love is getting a lot of buzz and attention right now going to New England. Those are the reasons, though, that I don't think New England's going to draft a quarterback in the first round. The next question that I'm most confident about, they have and these next 3 are actually pretty tough. So if you're one of those people that likes to kind of go off the grain and maybe go out on a limb and make yourself different than somebody else, it's on these next 4 questions that you can probably go ahead and maybe take a little risk. I'd go for winners again. I'm here to pick 6 winners so I can split the $10,000 prize. So they've got another question: which team is going to draft Jerry Jeudy, the star receiver out of Alabama? So they've got Jets, Raiders, 49ers, and Broncos. And if we just look at those, we know that in terms of the draft order selection, when you get to the Jets, they're the first team that actually sticks out and says we need a wide receiver. They didn't, for whatever reason, really address that position that heavily in the offseason. They really didn't have many offensive weapons at the wide receiver position last year outside of Robbie Anderson. They drastically need to upgrade the wide receiver position. They've got to get Sam Darnold some help. They've got to find out in year 3, is Darnold the guy? That being said, I'm actually not going Jets here on this pick because I actually have CeeDee Lamb. I think CeeDee Lamb's speed, I think there's teams that are going to fall in love with that. We know how the NFL loves speed. It's a speed game. Get guys in space. They can make plays happen and take the ball all the way to the end zone. So I actually have CeeDee Lamb going to the Jets in my mock draft. And then the next team that, if you look at the order of teams picking who needs a wide receiver, it's going to be the Raiders. And I think this is where Judy goes. I think the Raiders are going to go ahead and snatch him up. So I've picked the Raiders in the Fox Bet Super 6 NFL Draft Challenge. I've got Judy going to the Raiders. All right, so the next question, we're down to 3 left. It's tough. I'm trying to give them to you here in confidence level. I'll go with they've got, what position will the Eagles draft with the 21st overall pick? Eagles with the 21st overall pick. Wide receiver, corner, linebacker, offensive line, any other position, or will they also trade that pick? Trades, to me, you can never really predict which GMs or which teams are going to make trades. Because we don't really know their needs, and we don't really know how they value picks, and or will they, match up with another team that's willing to go backwards. It takes 2 to tango and 2 to dance. The trades are just really hard, I think, to even predict. So I'm not going to go ahead and rule out trades. Any other position, I'm just going to go ahead and rule that out. They give you 4 good ones. If you look at mock drafts, they're actually pretty heavy on wide receiver. They're pretty heavy on linebacker. People are predicting linebacker. And then you see a couple offensive linemen. Haven't really seen a corner yet being drafted to the Eagles. The 2 most common are wide receiver and linebacker. And when I looked at my 15 to 20 mock drafts, I tallied them up. Wide receiver had the most. So I'm going to go wide receiver here. The Eagles need wide receivers. It's an obvious need for that team as well, based on the playmakers that they, or the lack of playmakers that they have at the wide receiver position. So I've got position the Eagles will draft with a 21st overall pick, wide receiver. All right, that takes us to two questions left in the Fox Bet Super 6 NFL Draft Challenge. And one of those 2 remainings is, which college will have more first rounders? They've got Alabama, LSU, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, and any other school, or a tie. A tie is crucial. We'll go ahead and break these down here, though. So if I look at first rounders, again, looking at mock drafts, this is an average of the 15 to 20 mock drafts I've looked at. I see 3 Ohio State guys being drafted. I've seen 2 Georgia guys being drafted, and most of them only really have 1 Georgia guy. They've got DeAndre Swift falling back into the second round. You've got to really do a lot of mock draft research to even come up with guys that are predicting a second Georgia player to be drafted in the first round. Clemson, too, only has 2, surprisingly, on average. I've seen some 3s, I've seen some 4s, but they're pretty heavily mostly into that 2 range for first rounders being drafted. All right, so it comes down to Alabama versus Clemson. The common number is 5-6. I mean, lots of 5s, lots of 6s for Alabama and LSU for first-round draft picks. So I'm going to go ahead and take the tie. Anything can happen here in the NFL draft. 5-6 is so common amongst all these mock drafts that I've seen. Give me the tie. I don't think any other is really in play. I mean, we know that the guys that go to the top schools are the ones that get drafted. They've laid out 5 of the top teams in all of the country. So it's going to be one of these. I don't think you're picking this hoping for any other. You're picking this hoping for tie. If you are thinking, okay, I want to actually pick one of these 2 teams rather than go tie. I've seen more LSU's in my mock drafts than I have been Alabama. There's a tick more, just a 1. It's really literally just 1, which is why I'm going tie. So if you are feeling like you want to pick one of these 2 schools, lean LSU, but I'm going ahead with the tie to take the $10,000 prize down. And that takes us to the last question for the Fox Bet Super 6 NFL Draft Challenge. Which team will draft Tua? Talked about this a little bit on the podcast last week when I gave you guys 4 of my bets that I had that I've made for the NFL draft coming up. They had the Tua over-under at 3.5, and I went ahead and I've already bet the over. So obviously by doing that, let's go ahead. They've got the Dolphins, Chargers, Jaguars, and any other team. This is how I see this one unfolding. Dolphins, That's a good football team. I talked about it on my podcast. Brian Flores did a lot of great things with not a lot of great talent out there. Got those guys playing really, really hard late in that season, winning ball games. Could have maybe won a couple more there against the Redskins. Maybe could have beaten the Buffalo Bills. Should have beaten the Buffalo Bills. They had them there to a late interception on the goal line by Fitzpatrick. Flipped that game. Like I said, even the Redskins they had a 2-point conversion. I'm not sure how they messed that up. Maybe that was earlier in the season when they were all tanking for a quarterback, but I don't think they were tanking for Tua. I didn't pick the Dolphins here in this pick. I think they actually go position player. They've got 2 first-round draft picks next year. If things are just completely bad, maybe they can package them. It's going to be tough because if you think they need a quarterback either this year or next year, this is definitely the better, I think, QB draft class to get a quarterback. I just think with Tom Brady leaving, the window of opportunity is open there in that AFC East for really anybody to get it, including the Patriots, to retain, being division champs. So I think with the Dolphins, with what they're building, how they had an excellent offseason, I see them not taking Tua there with their first round pick or with the number 5th overall pick and going for a different player. That takes us to the Chargers, then right behind them. I think they will go quarterback. I just don't think it'll be Tua right here. I think with all the injury concerns, with his ability or lack of mobility, I think that's going to make some teams nervous. They couldn't bring him into their facility to have their doctors look at them. I think it's going to be. I think the Chargers do go quarterback, but I think they go Herbert. So now we see Tua sliding. Now we're down to Jags and any other team. I don't think any other team, you could do it, right? We never know the NFL draft, but I actually think the Jaguars here make a lot of sense. Are they sold on Gardner Minshew? I'm not sure. He was a late draft pick himself. If you have a chance to grab Tua here for the Jacksonville Jaguars, just do it. You've never really gotten the quarterback position right ever. Not saying this is going to be the guy. He's a guaranteed success, but he brings a lot of talent. He brings winning, coming from Alabama. So maybe this is an opportunity where the Jaguars can actually get it right. So I've taken Jaguars here in the Fox Bet Super 6 NFL Draft Challenge. So let's go ahead and recap the 6 questions that are in play for $10,000. First offensive lineman drafted, Wirfs. I think you can pretty much bank on that. Will New England draft a quarterback in the first round? I've got no. Which team is going to draft Jerry Jeudy? I've got it going to the Raiders. Which college is going to have more first-rounders drafted? I'm going tie on that one. Which position will the Eagles draft with the 21st overall pick? Man, they need a wide receiver, so I'm definitely going wide receiver. And then where will Tua be drafted? I'm going Jacksonville Jaguars. So those are how I answered the 6 questions for the Fox Bet Super 6 NFL Draft Challenge. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at WinningBetsPod. That's at WinningBetsPod. We come out with new podcasts every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We've been a little light, over the past handful of weeks, obviously with sports not being in play, but we have come out with podcasts. And in addition to coming out with podcasts, we're making bets. I'm 3-0 on the Belarus Soccer League. I won another game this past Saturday. So even when we're not coming up with podcasts, enough material to come out with podcasts, I'm still giving you guys winners, and I'm still making myself money, and hopefully you're making winning bets too by listening to the Winning Bets Pod. Don't forget, Fox Bet Super 6 NFL Draft Challenge. Come and get a take of that $10,000 with me. Let's do it.